Hello, welcome back to Lady Lovestead Reads. My name is Jessica, and in this video I'll be sharing with you my February TBR. I'm thinking there's probably a glare on my glasses, so let me take those off. Oy. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. Great to see you. As I said, my name is Jessica. I typically read, that's my cat Oliver, I typically read books that fall into one of two categories, and on the one hand I read books that are cozy, light, and whimsical. On the other, I tend to like books that are dark and twisted. Because I do read some dark and twisted materials, please make sure that you check your trigger warnings before you pick up any of the books that I talk about. I don't share triggers in my videos because I think that they're spoilery, but if you have any concerns, I recommend using the app called Storygraph. They've got great information on triggers on that app. If you're new here as well, I read from a lot of different genres. My most commonly read genres are, I have them written down here on my iPad, fantasy, mystery, thriller, horror, romance, literary, and nonfiction. I read from all different age levels from middle grade to adult. Let's first start today's video with events at my Discord, which is called the Lovestead. It's free. You all are welcome to join. There's always a link to the Discord in the description box down below. We've been more and more active this year because I think we just need community right now. And I absolutely love my community. We are small but mighty and so full of love and support for one another. And it's my happy place, like really and truly. So I do Saturday sprints once a month on my Discord. The Saturday sprints for February will be Saturday, February 15th. I usually start around noon. If something comes up, I let people know, but usually start around noon. I'm hosting a 24 and 48 readathon. I try to do this seasonally. So I had my first one this past fall, and it was a success. I had 2 people participate, which honestly, if I have 1 person participate, that's a success. So I was really happy with it. I do a little bingo board, and it's called a 24 and 48 because the goal is that in the span of 48 hours, you read for 24 hours. I love it. It's so fun. It's doable. And unlike a 24-hour readathon, you can actually sleep when you do a 24 and 48. The bingo board is super, super easy. So, I mean, literally anything you do or read can count during the readathon. It's really just a way for us to spend time together and kind of shut out the world and do some self-care. So, on the bingo board, in the first spot, we have a freebie, which is any book. Read any book. You don't even have to finish it. Just read any book. The second spot is book with blue on the cover. And it's up to you how you do that. If you want to put a blue post-it note on a red cover and say it has blue on the cover, you're golden. 3, do any kind of cozy activity. It's literally any activity that feels cozy to you. And 4, drink a warm drink. If you would like a cold drink, whatever kind of drink you want, but drink a warm drink. So that's the bingo board for the 24 and 48 readathon. It will take place February 21st through 23rd, so the full weekend, so you can pick whatever 48 hours you want to do the readathon in. And it is leading up to my birthday, so it's kind of like a birthday weekend thing for me too. So that is the winter 24 and 48. Would love to have you join us for that. I've had some requests to do my first watch along. I'm really excited about it. So I tried to launch this last year because I have a friend IRL in my real life. Not that BookTube's not real life, but just not an online friend, a local friend, we'll say that way. A local friend had mentioned that they wanted to watch the show The Goodwitch, so I thought, hey, let's do a watch along. So she and I have been watching it, but it didn't really pick up any traction on the Discord, which is totally fine. But I have 2 or 3 people on the Discord now that are like, hey, I want to watch this show, and I'm so excited for it. So we're going to start season 1 of The Goodwitch in February. Now, The Goodwitch is a very cozy, whimsical show launched on Hallmark Channel, and It originally was a series of movies, and the movies were so popular that they made it into a television series. So if you wanted to watch the movies that are like prequels to the show, I have them listed here. The issue that we're having in the Discord with the movies is access to them. I think that one of the platforms I found might have the films. So if you're interested in watching the prequel movies, the order to watch them in is The Goodwitch, The Goodwitch's Garden, The Goodwitch's Gift, The Goodwitch's Family, The Goodwitch's Charm, The Goodwitch's Destiny, and The Goodwitch's Wonder. So I found some streaming services that have the show. A couple of them I think are free, actually. I tested one of them out. So I tested out a service called Plex TV, and I was able to watch the first episode for free. I don't know if it will let me watch more of the show for free, but I also think that on Plex TV they have the films, the prequel films. So I would say look into that if you want to join the watch along. The Roku channel has it for free. It definitely has the show. It has seasons 1 through 7, so there's 7 seasons, and it has them all for free. And then Hallmark Movies Now is a paid service. The last I checked, I think it was around between like $5 and $7 for a monthly subscription. And they have the show on that streaming network as well. If you know of other services, especially services that people internationally can access, not just in the US, please let me know. Please share it in the Discord. And join us for the watch along. We're going to do 1 season a month, starting with season 1 in February. Now we're getting into some book action. The Lovestead trilogy-along that we're currently working on is the Legendborn trilogy. So in January, we read Legendborn, which is book 1. All of these are by Tracy Deonn. In February, we are reading Bloodmarked in preparation for the 3rd and final book being released in March, which is Oathbound. This is a YA fantasy, urban fantasy, dark academia series. It's about Bree. She gets accepted into an early enrollment college situation in North Carolina, and at the college she discovers a secret society focused on Arthurian legends, and they have magic, and she discovers she has magic. So that's the premise. It's really good. It's really wonderful. I love these books so much. They are rereads for me, with the exception of Oathbound, which isn't out yet. So I'm absolutely loving it, loving reading it and discussing it with people on the Discord. You still have time to read the first book if you still want to join, or if you have already read the first 2 and you want to just wait and join until the 3rd one comes out, that's an option too. On the Discord, when I do these trilogy-alongs or buddy reads, I leave the discussions up all year. So they'll be up until March of next year. So if it takes you until March of next year to read the trilogy and you still want to jump in and have a conversation about it, you can do that, right? Your own time, your own schedule. It's perfectly fine if you want to join us. So I will be reading this in February though, for sure, for the trilogy along. Our first trilogy along. We'll do 3 in the year, and this is the first one. I have been doing a Lovestead buddy read. I'm trying to read down my shelves. So I pull a book every month from my shelves to read as a buddy read in the Discord. And I rotate every month. Like I said, I read 2 categories, whimsical and dark. And so every other month I do a whimsical and a dark. And on even numbered months, I do the whimsical books. On odd numbered months, I do the darker books. So the buddy read for January was Darkly. This is what we read in January. Loved it. Loved it. And several people on the Discord loved it as well. It was definitely dark and twisted. And for February, I pulled a middle grade called The Republic of Birds by Jessica Miller. So this is a wintry Slavic middle grade fantasy. I'm so excited to read it. Jade at Jadeyraereads is kind of an expert on like wintry middle grade, and she loves this book. She recommends it. She recommends it all the time. So I'm excited to read it. I can read you the dust jacket. So it says, in the land of Saretsvo, civil war has divided the human tsardom from the Republic of Birds. Magic is outlawed and young witches are sent to a mysterious boarding school from which no one returns. Olga and her family live a life of dull privilege in the capital until her father displeases the tyrannical Serena. The family is sent off into exile at the Imperial Center for Avian Observation, an isolated shack near the Republic of Birds. Unlike the rest of her family, Olga doesn't particularly mind their strange new life. She never fit into aristocratic society, as well as her perfect younger sister Mira. But what does worry Olga is her blossoming magical abilities. If anyone found out, they would send her away. But then Mira is kidnapped by the birds, and Olga has no choice but to enter the Forbidden Republic, a dangerous world full of yagas, talking birds, and living dreams. I am so excited to read this. I am in a mood to read some cozy, whimsical middle grade fantasy. I'm just really excited to dive into this. And it's got some lovely maps and illustrations in it. It is, how many pages? It's 279 pages, so a nice shorter, kind of mid-range book in terms of length. Bloodmarked is definitely a longer book, so if you're going to read that with us, yeah, this one is a big book. My definition is a big book is anything over 500 pages, and this one is 557 pages. So keep that in mind if you're planning to read these. They're consistently, over 500 pages. This one, thankfully, is a nice, short little one, maybe more average-sized book. I hope you read it with us. It looks so good. So that covers things happening at the Discord. We've got the Saturday sprints, the 24 and 48 readathon, the kickoff of the Goodwitch watchalong, the trilogy-along book, and the Lovestead buddy read. So much fun happening. Speaking of fun things happening, there are several readathons in February that I want to participate in. I might not be able to do like the full commitment to it, but I love them. I love the idea of them. I love the people that are hosting these readathons, so I want to support and participate in the ways that I can. So the first one is Polarathon, hosted by Jade at Jadeyraereads. This is an annual readathon that she hosts, and she has a bingo board, and the bingo board is all about like wintry books. And she also does a fundraiser during Polarathon for polar bears and research for the Arctic and on like environmental protection and climate change and things like that. So she challenges you for like every book you read, donate $1 to this certain charity. And I love that. I love that. So I will link you down below to Jade's announcement video for Polarathon. It takes place for the entire month of February, and I'm not going to get a bingo blackout or anything like that. I would just like to be able to read one book. And in fact, if you read this book with us, you can count it towards the Polarathon bingo board. It's perfect. Next, Mr. Francy has a readathon called Cozy It Up in February, which is a cozy mystery readathon. He created a bingo board for that as well, and it takes place throughout the month of February. I have not selected any particular books for this. I would like to read at least one book to cover one of the bingo spots. And I have plenty of cozies in my lineup to be able to do that. I just need to pick one. So I would like to participate in that and see how many bingo spots I can get filled. Of course, I would love to be able to do like more than one book for each of these readathons, but we're keeping it realistic, okay? And then the last readathon that I love is called Jante's Inferno, and it's hosted by Jan at JanAgaton. And I was a vamp in her Patreon for a long while. I had to step back for various reasons, nothing to do with Jan. I love Jan still, and I love her Patreon and everybody there. And her readathon's called Jante's Inferno, which is a play on words with Dante's Inferno, if you've ever read that. And the goal of Jante's Inferno is to escape hell. So you start at the bottom in the lowest level of hell, and you make your way up with each book to try and escape. This readathon takes place February 6th through 16th, and she's got like this board where we're basically trying to climb out of hell, and each level is a different prompt for a book. And I love this readathon. I think it's so creative and cute. It's so Jan. So I would like to be able to support that. And again, my goal is just to read one book, and I think I'll be able to do it because a couple of the books here will count for at least that bottom level in the Inferno. So those are the readathons I would like to participate in and read at least one book to support the creators and the readathon, because I think they're so cool. And like I said, I've got links to their announcement videos in the description box down below, so you can go check it out and learn more and join. Okay, and then the last thing to chat with you about is a couple of buddy reads that I have. So the first buddy read is with my friend Hannah. And we've been talking about this book for the longest time because both of us really love Kate Ellis Marshall. So we've been planning this buddy read since before the book was released. And it is A Killing Cold. This is Kate Ellis Marshall's newest adult thriller. And let me read you the dust jacket. So it says, a whirlwind romance. When Theodora Scott met Connor, wealthy, charming, and a member of the powerful Dalton family, she fell in love in an instant. 6 months later, he's brought her to Idlewood, his family's isolated winter retreat, to win over his skeptical relatives. Stay away from Connor Dalton. Theo has tried to ignore the threatening messages on her phone, but she can't ignore the footprints in the snow outside the cabin window or the strange sense of familiarity she has about this place. Then, in a disused cabin, Theo finds something impossible. A photo of herself as a child. A photo taken at Idlewood. I've been here before. Theo has almost no recollection of her earliest years, but now she begins to piece together the fragments of her memories and realizes she is in terrible danger. Someone here has a shocking secret that they will do anything to keep hidden, and discovering what happens at Idlewood may cost Theo everything. I'm so excited for this book. I adore Kate Ellis Marshall. I love her. Like, she writes middle grades, and I read this past fall the start of one of her middle grade trilogies called 13s and loved it. Her middle grades are excellent. She writes YA. I've read a couple of her YA. They're excellent. And her adult thrillers are great. I just love her. I just love her writing so much. They're so much fun. And What Lies in the Woods, which is one of her thrillers, was one of my favorite books of 2023. Like, I can't say enough good things about Kate Ellis Marshall. And I'm so excited to be buddy reading this with my friend Hannah. And then my friend Amy at Amy Harbert and Pagers and I are going to read The Hobbit. So I have been trying my darndest to get involved in her read along of the Lord of the Rings series. And I wanted to start with The Hobbit because I haven't actually read The Hobbit. And then the Lord of the Rings trilogy is going to be a reread for me. And I just did not get to it in the month of January. And I really want to, and she wants to buddy read this and read it with me. And thankfully, the read-along's in her Discord, so even if I'm like months behind, I can still participate in the conversation. So I'm still going to try. It might take me all year, but I am going to get through Amy's read-along. So we're going to buddy read The Hobbit. And I'll read you the dust. I think everybody knows what The Hobbit's about, but it says, if you care for journeys there and back and out of the comfortable Western world, over the edge of the wild and home again, and can take an interest in a humble hero blessed with a little wisdom and a little courage and considerable good luck, here is a record of such journey and such a traveler. The period is the ancient time between the age of fairy and the dominion of men, when the famous forest of Mirkwood was still standing and the mountains were full of danger. In following the path of this humble adventurer, you will learn by the way, as he did, if you do not already know all about these things, much about trolls, goblins, dwarves, and elves, and get some glimpses into the history and politics of a neglected but important period. So this follows Bilbo Baggins and his adventures. And like I said, I haven't actually read this before. So it is one of the shorter ones. It's classic high fantasy. And Amy and I will start this buddy read on the 15th of February. Those are my February plans. I did not check anything out from the library this month because I want to read entirely from my shelves and from Kindle Unlimited. I am a little behind on my uploading because I ended up with influenza A in January, so it put me behind on some things. So I've got some videos ready to go that I just haven't posted yet, like my December wrap up and my best books of 2024. So those are coming down the schedule. They are in the lineup for your viewing pleasure here soon. So that's coming. And yeah, I mean, I would love to have you participate in any of this if you would like. Tell me down below one book that you plan to read in the month of February. If you are enjoying my content, make sure to like and subscribe. Join the Discord. If you just want to leave me an emoji to let me know that you're here, go ahead and leave me a snowflake emoji. And until next time, make sure that you continue to read good books, drink good coffee, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye.